Quick, homie.
What is up, YouTube? It's your boy G11 back at it again with another episode of Homie Talk, where we have real discussions about real things happening right now. I'm also joined by the homie today.
Hello, everyone. It is me, homie.
We got homie on Homie Talk. Oh my days. Unless you recognize his voice and know who homie's secret identity is, I'm not gonna give the jig up, but
There is no secret identity. It is only homie.
there's only homie. Oh my days, man.
However,
Thanks.
homie would like to introduce. You know him. You occasionally love him. He is second only to G11. What up, everybody? It's me, your resident otaku.
Surprise reveal. It was Jude all along. Oh my days. Well, thanks for joining me this evening. I know this one was kind of a short notice one, but yeah, like this one I've been thinking about it the past couple days. I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and just do a cover the story. And the short version is
Let me guess. You saw on the news, and it's about Johnny Depp's trial.
no, but that's crazy too. Like, I don't know if you saw like any of the videos that were shared from.
Oh, I was watching it live yesterday. Like
you see,
to the point that they were specifically trying to get this man to confess doing drugs and stuff on a plane.
Mm-hmm. They tried to get him confess about doing drugs. Johnny had a recording of Amber, like talking about, like basically saying she hit him, but she said she didn't punch him in the recording. But it's just like, yo, they had a toxic ass marriage. Like I know stuff isn't always peaches and cream, but they were like physical as hell with each other, bro. Like that is insane to me. He's not completely innocent in it, but like that man suffered some abuse. Like, we normally don't talk about it because it's the other side of it's usually pushed where it's like the woman is abused, right? But Johnny definitely, like, I watched that man's face as that audio clip played, and like he almost looked scared. It was weird, man. I was like, what is happening with Johnny? You don't know.
So real quick on that, I don't know if we'll actually do a topic on it, but I thought I might as well put it out here now. I was talking to the missus about it, and she found out that there was actually a company that does makeup. The company called Amber out on one of her, the defendant out, because one of the statements was that she was using like the makeup to cover up the beatings, and I think 2014 or something like that.
She was using makeup to cover up her beatings or his beatings?
Like hers. But the company wasn't established until 2017 after they were apart.
Oh, that's sketch. That's sketchy as hell.
Not like the actual company called her out though.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense. And they were like, "Yo, we didn't even exist. So how you use our products?" So she was a little like I feel sorry. Like, Johnny Depp. Like, we'll never see him in another Pirate of the Caribbean's movie. We're never gonna see. Like, I think he's just done. Like, I think his career, like, because what's the last movie he actually did or acted in?
That's a good question.
Like, I think it was a Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah.
And that's, Disney owns that. So, the mouse, like, with all the stuff that's going on with him, the mouse isn't going to deal with him anymore. Like, they probably are like, all right,
at least until they know. Actually, I don't even think they'll do it even if they know. Like, they're just going to cut ties.
I think they've washed their hands of them. Disney is done. And, they got their own troubles over there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, maybe we'll do a deep dive on it sometime this weekend or Sunday. I don't know. I like doing the live streams a little bit better right now because it's less editing.
Yeah, I got you.
But so what would you do if Mike Tyson, the legendary boxer, Iron Mike, was just jabbing you up on the plane, dude? Like, what? How would you like if Mike Tyson just punched you in the face, man? Like, what do you do?
Like on a so hold on. Let me get this right. I'm on a plane, minding my own business. Doesn't matter where I'm going, and Iron Mike just decks me on the plane.
Well, no, let's say like let me lay the scenario. Like, I don't know. You see Iron Mike, he's all cool, he's chilling. You want a selfie, he gives you a selfie. He's just trying to enjoy his flight. But you keep bugging him for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, so if I'm out here bugging, then I feel like I deserve it.
But so we'll dig into it. We'll dig into it, 2K.
So what's this about a punching?
The short version is, I think this was on the 21st. Because what's today? Today's the 22nd, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yesterday the news broke. Basically, a video came out of Mike just jabbing this guy up. I'm gonna share the video real quick, and then I'll give some context as to why I think Mike Tyson was right in what he did. So here's the video in question, and I'm starting it from the beginning so you can kind of see everything. But that's the dude. You see Mike Tyson sitting in his chair there, and the dude behind him is the one that gets dapped up. So here we go.
This is George talking to Mike Tyson, bro. This shit crazy, bro. Mike Tyson. My dog done got lit, man. He over here rapping with Tyson. Mike Tyson trying to give us some shrooms. You don't know how to act. Tyson looking out, man. This shit crazy. Should have never gave you his money.
He's drunk.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Mike punching him out.
Hey, Mike, come on. Let's go stop back. Let's lose the horse, man.
And this is the aftermath.
Flight.
Look at his face.
Got beat up by Mike Tyson. Turn that way.
Ooh.
Yeah, he got up. Trying to ask for.
So that's what happened, and I don't know if you can tell, but like Mike didn't even go. Like, he didn't even really go hard. I think he was just kind of softening them up a little bit. Because listen, this is Mike Tyson we're talking about. So if he really wanted to,
if he wanted to end your career, he would have ended your career.
Right. Like, I don't care how old Mike Tyson is, 55, 60, 70. Like, you take a punch from that man and he's serious, you're probably going to just lay down and not get up.
Mm-hmm. But I remember, like, his thing was like he would punch through people.
Yes. Remember, this is the dude who was like biting people's ears off and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is Mike Tyson. This is a video game after him. Punch Out. This is a Punch Out in real life. But basically, the dude that he was punching there in the video. No, Siri, I didn't say nothing to you. Basically, the video there, the guy was drunk. Mike was cool at first when they got on. He gave him the selfie. All was well. But then the guy kind of escalated, and what's not captured on the video is that witnesses are saying he threw a water bottle at Mike, and that's when Mike started going ham on him. Because, like, Mike Tyson is older now. He's trying to just chill, enjoy his life. He was in San Francisco basically being the weed Santa Claus out there. He's promoting some stuff out there. And I feel like Mike Tyson is just chilling at this time in his life. I don't really see or hear anything about him just beating people up. That's not him.
But I'm pretty sure, like, even after all the fights and stuff, he came out and was just like, "Yo, like, that's not me anymore. Like, I don't want to fight people."
Right, exactly. He's chilling. He's just trying to enjoy his life and promote weed and that's what he's doing. He was in San Francisco giving out free weed, and then this flight he was about to get on, he's about to head down to Miami for another like weed event, and be a spokesperson, whatever. Like he's just chilling. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So the reason why I really wanted to talk about this was because of recent events. You had the Will Smith situation with him slapping Chris Rock, and I just wanted to establish that these are two different things. You know what I mean? Like the whole Will Smith thing is that was uncalled for and illegal, and that's just straight up assault. In this case, you got a drunk individual who's haggling you, and he's throwing shit at you. I mean, it's warranted at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Kay's got a comment. He says we missed the actual inciting incident on that footage. We did. I'm sure more footage will come out as we see it. But the reports about the water bottle are coming from other eyewitnesses that were on the plane. And as you saw, that footage kind of jumps. It's like real, cut back and forth. But even just from that little tidbit, we see Mike is just sitting there, and we see the homie is like just behind him, just talking, and bugging him, and just being annoying. You know what I mean? If I were Mike Tyson, I would have done the same thing. He softened him up. Oh, would you do something different?
I was going to say, if I was Mike Tyson, I would genuinely, pause for a minute.
Uh-huh.
People know who I am. So I'm going to let the flight attendant know that she needs to do something before I do something.
Well, you know what? You brought up a good point right there. Because he is Mike Tyson, he's worth a lot of money, and if he's just fighting people, like just random people in the street, he could open himself up to be sued. You're absolutely right. Which I think is still pending. We don't know if this guy is gonna try to sue him or not, which I think he would be foolish to, because he the one kind of, at least from these initial reports, he's the one who incited it. But when you kind of had that status, yeah, you probably should avoid that type of stuff if you can, and use all your other avenues before you just lay hands upon thee. Because he could get sued and lose a lot of money. We've seen it. That's the secret to staying rich, is to just mind your business and not get sued. Because when you're rich, people are probably looking to sue you and just take all your wealth.
Because the main reason I'm going to say something first is that way, hey, someone recognize, like, before I do anything, facts. I told y'all I'm about to do something.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, hey, homie is bugging me. Oh, wait, here we go. Kay's got another comment. He said, I heard there's lots of blowback on Will Smith for that at this point. Well, yeah. The news about him has kind of died. Well, go ahead, Jude. What you got?
Oh, I was just looking at something, but you can go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Well, yeah, the whole news with the whole Will Smith situation, like a lot of people called him out. A lot of celebrities called him out. I don't know if you even saw, but Jim Carrey came out and was like, yo, if that was me, I would have sued him. And this is Jim Carrey. You know what I'm saying? And that's only right, because that whole thing is, Will had issues. He has issues with his marriage. He's had issues in his marriage for a long time, and he hasn't been able to reconcile it. You know what I mean? Or on the terms that he's not the man that his wife wanted to marry. He's not Tupac. That's who she actually wanted to marry. But, he stuck around, tried to be the good guy. He caved to her demands.
Clean rap.
We see how that kind of turned out. His kids. What's that?
The clean rap.
Oh, yeah. Will Smith had his nice clean rap. Tried to be. He's a good dude. Will Smith. So I will say this: Will Smith is genuinely a good dude, and he's been a role model for folks for a long time. He chose wrong in my opinion when he married her, which ultimately led up to him making this poor decision of slapping Chris Rock. And I hope, honestly, I know Chris Rock hasn't said much. I think he should sue him. I think he should sue him and maybe, give him some actual real consequence for his actions, because he hasn't really gotten any,
I'd say
And then,
not just that, but those two need to at least have a sit down. Like,
oh
have
yeah,
a
homie to
talk.
homie. They Will and Chris Rock need a homie talk. They need a homie to homie talk for real. Because Chris Rock is probably going to be. If I were him, I would still be thinking about it too. Like getting slapped on stage on national television. Now, of course, I mean, I wasn't watching the Oscars when it happened. I don't think that many people watch it. That's just my opinion, though. I'm probably wrong, but
I'm even out here in LA and I didn't even realize it went on.
Until the next morning, where it's like, oh, Will Smith slapped him.
Actually, not even the next morning. Like, I think that night, my wife brought up, like, hey, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. And I was just like, as a bit?
No, it was real. Hey, my boy Wesley in the building makes a good point. Will needs a better therapist. I agree. And rewatch the movie Get Out. Yo, Jude, you ever seen the movie Get Out?
Yeah.
So that,
yep.
You think that's a good comparison? That is kind of like what Will is dealing with, right? He's under Jada's spell. I know there were a lot of memes floating around where, because he laughed at the joke first.
He did.
And then Jada gave him
as soon as she gave him that look.
It's like she hit him with the Emperor Palpatine execute Order 66. And he just
I'm telling you.
My wife's name out your mouth.
I'm telling you, like, I'm pretty sure I said this, like, when we were offline, but that man's just Smith now because he needs to find his will.
He needs to find his will. Hey, to the audience, Jude just dropped a golden bomb right there. And I agree with that. He is just Smith now. He's got to get his will back. But yeah, that situation is crazy. I know I've seen some videos from some of the content creators I follow that are, and I think these are just rumors, but they're talking about Will is actually mentioning divorce from Jada or something like that. And I think Jada, she just did her first Red Table Talk in like a month, and she didn't exactly address the slap. Oh, hang on. Kay says he's banned from the Oscars at this point, at least. Well, he's only banned for 10 years, though. That's the thing. And let's be honest, like I don't really think they participated in the Oscar like that before. In the Oscars, actually, if you go back in time, Jada Pinkett Smith boycotted the Oscars. Did you know that, Jude?
I did not.
So they boycotted the Oscars because, and this was really, really big at the time. A lot of black actors were boycotting the Oscars because they felt like there weren't enough like black representation, like not enough black people actually winning at the Oscars. So Jada, she got on her Twitter talking about hashtag boycott the Oscars and this and that and the other. It was like, okay, well, we didn't forget. We didn't forget that you said that. But then you show up and make it will act a fool, at the one time he actually wins one.
That's probably the worst part too.
What's that?
Because the fact that, if I remember the timeline right, he did the slap, then got up there and gave a speech.
He did give a speech, that was crazy too. I'm like, wait a minute. He straight up just walked on stage, assaulted a man, walked off, did not get escorted out, or
still got his Oscar.
Still got his Oscar. Gave a speech and didn't apologize to Chris. Apologized to everybody else. He said it was a bit of one of his characters coming out because he just did that. What was it, King James or something? There's a movie where he's like Venus and Serena Williams' dad or something like that.
Yep.
And he said it was a bit of that character coming out, and I'm like, no, like how is anybody that was sitting in the audience that night like congratulating and clapping and just completely ignored what he just did? Like they didn't hold him accountable that night. He should have been escorted out. And then he went to an after party, danced around with the Oscar, and then his son had the nerve to tweet something. I think his son said, "This is what real N-words do." He said, "Yeah, this is what real N-words do." I'm like what? Like, Jaden, you weren't even raised in the hood, homie. Like,
See, that's
oh
someone Mike Tyson need to box him.
yeah, Mike Tyson need to knock some sense into Jaden. As a spouse/wife, I expect her to attempt to help me from making bad decisions. You're absolutely right. Like, and Jude, I'm sure you can attest too, right? Like, both of us, I think we would expect that of our wives as well, right?
Yep.
And
Like, if
Mhm.
I have like any of my blind spots, like she's there to point them out and get me right.
Facts. And it's the same. Like, I usually do consult my wife for a lot of things, even if it's just something at work. If I'm like pissed off at something about work, I'm talking to her and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? Before I just make a rash decision about something, because I get pretty hot. Ramsey knows me too. He knows he knows I can get pretty passionate about something, especially when it's something involving like the people that work for me, and I have certain standards and stuff like that. But I'll consult her before I make a sweeping decision, or just something brash to see. Well, wait a minute, maybe there's something I'm missing. Like you said, the blind spot. And in that instance, Jada should have stopped Will from going up there and doing that. I mean, but she actually, there was another angle. It showed her laughing as he went up and did it. She just chuckled.
Yep.
I mean,
Fucking
she's
Jimbo
just
looking ass.
she did look like that Yu-Gi-Oh card Genzo. You're right. Oh, it's okay. He says boycotting an event doesn't do much for having those people at the event. Exactly. And that was the thing. The whole point of them boycotting, because like I said, they thought there wasn't enough like black representation at the Oscars. They felt like it was just a white people thing. And that I say, like, hey, if it's an issue, like if you think it's if you think it's like a white people event or catered to white people, why don't we just create some type of equivalent, right? Some type of black Oscars. I mean, we have enough black influence and money where they could create an event. Now, I don't know if it'll be as of the same standard of the Oscars, right? But if we have an issue with something, why are we trying so hard to get to it? If that logical, you understand what I'm saying? I'm kind of confusing it a little bit, I think.
No, like basically what you're saying is, and I'm not going to try to misconstrue this and make this about the alphabet or anything like that.
Oh yeah,
but realistically, if you get enough people behind a movement, something will happen.
Yeah, something like with anything, it doesn't even just have to be a black and white thing. If enough people are taking issue with something, then why not create something new? Some type of equivalent to rival that, because if you just keep complaining about the same thing, but then ultimately you still,
nothing gets done about it.
Yeah, nothing is done about it, or you're still a patron of that thing, right? Then it doesn't really solve the underlying issue. You're not, let's take some of this money that we got. BLM.
See, I wasn't even going to say nothing.
That was a low jab.
I wasn't even going to say anything. That was low hanging fruit.
That was a low jab. That was a low jab. But you know what went on with them? They just got exposed for buying a $6 million property, and they didn't disclose it to anyone. All reason they actually mentioned this property was because there was a reporter who followed him. He did, and basically the founders were saying they created that, they purchased that property, and they were going to use it as like a content creation hub for Black people. You know, like content creation is going to save, you know, Black people. That's gonna, you know. I'm just saying, you know, they raised over $90 million and used $6 million of it on a property. But that's a different topic. I can do a video on BLM by itself. But you know, really, I was talking to Kay's, you know, boycotting point, that, you know, it's ironic that Jada, you know, originally she boycotted it and then showed up to it and then let her husband make a fool of himself. You know, it's just a shame. But yeah,
actually going full circle on this, because I know we didn't queue up to talk about Will, but
hey, it
like,
is what it is.
It is a point. Like, when it comes to Mike, you got to be careful of where you are.
That's true too.
Jada to Will is, to an extent, an antagonizer, or in this case, oppressor to the oppressed.
You said Jada's an oppressor to the oppressed?
Well, because if you look at it this way, we genuinely have a timeline to where, if Will was willing to talk about it, if he was willing to talk about it, the entanglement, which we've spoken about before.
Yeah, we covered that dumb stuff. The entanglement.
I hate using that word. His mental state after that. And then turned around, just hitting him with more and more and more. All of a sudden, the one night, he laughs at a joke at her expense. The one time he might have been able to let loose, relax, kick it with actors he hasn't seen in a while.
Correct. Yeah, just be around the homies. Have a good time.
She gave him that look and made an ass out of him.
Yeah. If that's not a sign he need to exit, I don't know what is. You know what
actually, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to talk to your point how, you know, how the entanglement happened and then more and more stuff came out that just hurt him. You know, someone I watched made a good point. They're like, hey, she's done all this stuff. Where's all the videos of Will doing bad stuff or talking crap about her? And you won't find it because he just doesn't. He you know what I mean? He's a great husband. That's crazy. You know, even oh man, I should bring this up. Let me pull this out. Hang on. Can you read that chat from Ramsey real quick while I'm pulling this up?
From Ramsey's son. Just a thought. They might be happier individuals if they walked away from each other. A man that died at 97 still haunts their marriage and have their daughter writing letters to a ghost.
That is true too. I think we did talk
about that in the last one with Suspect.
In the last one, I think I showed you guys that letter from
pretty sure that was the one where I also got beat by a freaking protagonist.
That is 96. Yeah, you have a good point. I'm gonna pull up this video. I know we're kind of off track now. We're talking about Mike Tyson.
I was about to bring it full circle too, but go ahead.
Well, I wanted to show you. I might have shown you all this video before, but this one was floating around, and it's basically like Jada forcing Will to try to be a part of her life. I want you to pay attention to his body language and like his face, like his facial features here. I want you to really just kind of keep an eye on that.
In that very first like
resurfaced footage of Will Smith asking his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, not to record him without permission has been doing the rounds on Reddit. In the 49-second
wait
clip,
a minute. I don't know if this is I need.
Will talk, but Will clearly at time.
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
I was been instrumental. She is.
There we go.
You know, Esther Perel is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me.
Oh my goodness.
If you could film me.
Esther, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Don't.
Isn't this crazy?
Because she don't just.
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter. Okay. So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start roll. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Please watch us stare at the red table because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
And that's the clip. Isn't that crazy?
That just goes to show you there ain't no help. I'm sorry.
Isn't that crazy? And this is an old clip, but it resurfaced after the Oscar thing. And a lot of content creators covered it because it's like foreshadowing. You know what I mean? It's like foreshadowing, and like just like I said, the body language this man was giving off, like he looked like he just woke up, or he's just walking around in his house, and he's being nice about it because I know he had that look on his face, y'all, like he wanted to snap on her, but he exercised such a measured restraint there, and even his responses were measured. She's trying to force him to answer a question, and he's like, I would think you don't just record me.
Yeah.
Like, don't just, and he instead of being even more direct and handle he says his social media is his bread and butter. Now we know he made most of his money off of his movies and his music. He's just now getting into the social media game, within the last 2 or 3 years. He's really blown up on his Instagram and his YouTube. So it's not really like, out of all the money he makes, his social media is not really a large piece of his income. That's just additional income at this point. So he kind of used a half-baked excuse to tell her to stop instead of just saying, don't fucking record me. Huh?
You don't
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was trying to, protect her. Actually, I'm just gonna pull the screenshot up one more time. Oh, sorry, I lost track of my mouse. It's so weird using a Mac. His face, man. That man looks defeated. Like, we've all seen that face. We've seen it. We've seen that face. Perhaps we've even made that face at some point in our lives. And it doesn't necessarily mean like someone we're dealing with, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just that face when you're just tired. Like, as a man, like you're over it. And you're just like, yeah, like he's dressed up, they're getting ready to go out, and she's just recording them, and he's like, just don't, So I really feel for the homie. I like I said before, I hope he does get the help that he needs. Oh, hang on. Ramsey has another message for us as soon as I can find. Okay, yep. His boundaries are not respected and considered even after properly communicating the first notice. That's right. That's right. She doesn't, but that says it all. Their whole relationship, she's never respected him because she wanted him to be like Tupac. At the bottom line, he wasn't the one she wanted to marry. Tupac was, I'm sure he imprinted on Jada. He was the one she wanted to be with. She wanted a thug. She wanted that hood ratchet Pookie love, you know what I'm saying? she wanted to get beat upside the head and all that stuff, and Will tried to, he tried to represent
be a gentleman.
That. Yeah. I mean, in the marriage, he tried to be a gentleman, but at the Oscars, he tried to just be that hood dude. You know, and one of the things that really bothered me about that is you have a lot of people on social media, a lot of women coming out talking about, oh, this is what protection looks like. Like, no, that's no.
That is assault.
That's, why does protection mean putting myself in a compromising situation over something that doesn't matter, over a joke? You know,
And kind of leading into where I was going to circle that back.
go for it.
With all this that Jada's done to Will, for Mike, this is someone you don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, you were nice
That's
enough.
true.
You did the selfie. You gave him a handout, you know. You were nice. You were cordial. But then they just kept bugging and bugging and bugging.
And allegedly through a water bottle, but that, you know, that's just witnesses. We got to see if that gets confirmed in another way. Continue, please.
But my point is, it's everyone has that level of tolerance. Some people might just be a saint and they will walk that road no matter what happens, keep their head held high as long as they can, even if they are looked down upon.
Facts.
But then there are others. The moment you cast that first stone will come at you with a right hook.
That's true too. Oh yeah, shout out to Kay real quick. He says top way to fix a Mac is to get a real PC.
Some people are in a hotel right now.
Yeah. If y'all didn't know, I am down in Wichita Falls right now for non-commissioned officer academy. So I'm at like the most northern part of Texas right now. I am nowhere near my my actual computer setup. I won't actually be back, in Colorado until like mid-May. But for now I'm using my Mac. For right now, I'm using my little MacBook Air setup. It functions. That's why we're just doing the live streams versus doing, the long format videos and all that stuff. So, but getting back to your point, random people on the street. Yeah, like you mess with someone, it take just that one time for them to go off on you.
Because I would say, again, you already brought up the job, and for those who don't know, yes, I'm still serving as a way into the Air Force. But what that means for me is like I'm the first thing people see. So if I go out here wilding, the moment people know, like, hey, like that's the Air Force recruiter, that is the representative for what the Air Force is going to be like.
Yep.
And I decide, like, today's the day. I'm just going to go buck wild and crazy. Well, of course I'm not going to go to the Air Force. That's sad. Like, look at this guy.
The Air Force is ratchet. I can see them thinking that.
Or even like, oh man, I actually had the infamous conversation because I did a school visit the other day. And as I was doing the school visit, there were a few of the students that came up and was just like, oh, like, what does the Air Force have to offer? Genuine questions. Okay, so what do you do in the Air Force? Oh, well, I'm an electrician. Okay, cool. What plane do you fly?
Yeah,
I'm an electrician.
Like, I'm an electrician. I don't fly planes. Ramsey, real quick, he says Mike has noticeably done a lot of self-healing over the years, and he has. That's what he's calmed down. The guy was drunk, and that is a high potential of annoying behavior and bravery.
I'd say stupidity over bravery.
Yeah, like definitely alcohol is a big factor in this. I think it's crazy that the dude was drunk like as soon as they got on the plane. Like he must have just been consuming alcohol, something strong. Maybe he's like, I don't know, but just to get on a plane drunk and not have any kind of self-discipline to just, you know, not be drunk on the plane. You know what I mean? That's kind of on the dude. And for him to keep messing with Mike, you know, however long he restrained himself, you know, at a certain point, your tolerance just runs out. And I think that's regardless of who you are or your status. Granted, all those other things we mentioned are factors, but at some point, your tolerance is going to run out, and you're just going to go off.
I don't know. I've
but-
seen some true saintly people who
Oh, some people got
they-
it. I'm
like,
not saying they don't
They
exist.
just put up with it, but
Not
they're
me.
also the ones who would have received what Mike dished out just because some people want the reaction.
Yeah, some people want the reaction. Like I said, maybe some people just want to look to start trouble, you know, because of who you are. But he had restraint even in hitting him. It was kind of like what we established at the beginning. If Mike was hitting him serious, dude would have been KO'd. Like the cuts on his face and the bruising and all that, that's like he got off lightly.
Probably just bouncing off the seat a little bit.
Yeah, like he got off lightly. Like Mike, he could have hurt him. So, so you know, I hope Mike doesn't really get charged with anything. This is still kind of ongoing. I guess event. You know, so I'll keep my eye on the story and see what happens. And of course, with the Will Smith saga, it's still continuing. I'm gonna probably collect some more information, and we can even talk about that on Sunday, because tomorrow we're gonna do like that professional development type talk.
Hey, Air Force Part 2, it's finally happening. We here.
Yeah, we'll do Air Force.
Here.
We'll do Air Force Talk Part 2. And I'm gonna bring in, like I said, one of the homies from my flight here at NCOA. He wanted to just have a conversation because we're kind of like-minded. He's a positive type individual.
Oh, great.
No, but he's like more insightful than I am, even. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I just mean like, because as we mentioned, like we came up since college.
Oh yeah,
you were the positive one. I was ready for scorched earth strategies.
Oh, speaking of scorched earth, don't even get me started on this Russia situation, bro. This is scary.
That is not a topic for us.
I know.
We do have our own personal opinions. I will say that first and foremost. But we do not speak on behalf of
yeah, we gotta put that disclaimer. I'm not speaking in the capacity of the Air Force right now. I'm speaking in the capacity of G11. Oh man, but I think we've covered this one pretty good. You got any closing comments before we wrap it up?
Again, you can only for everyone out there, regardless of what you're dealing with, be it a partner, friend, somebody who's just slowly eating away at you, or some random who's drunk. You know you better than anyone else. And the only one who's going to look out for you in a situation that's going to turn bad is you. So cover your bases, get your woo-saw out, know when to ask for help.
Yeah, Mike could have handled it differently. I'll give it. That's a fair take. I'll give you that one. That's
and aside from that, actual homie on live, 10 likes. Let's go.
Hey, that's right. Oh, I hope Will heard the message too. But definitely for everybody watching, make sure you guys like the video, share, subscribe if you haven't. Kay, thanks for dropping in as always. The comments are appreciated. Ramsey, thanks for tapping in too, bro. Maybe we'll try to link up. I think you're further down south than I am. I don't know how far down you are, but maybe we'll try to link up while I'm out here. I do hope Will heard the message. Oh wait, Fly the plane better. There it is. I do hope Will heard the message. Hope he gets I hope he gets the help he needs. And separation might be the case with Jada. I know divorce is usually the last resort, but I think
Those kids are old enough.
Yeah, the kids are old enough. They're self-sufficient. Will needs to just take care of Will at this point. Smith needs to get his Will back. And then for Mike Tyson in that scenario, I think you had a fair take on it. Understand your level of patience. If you can exit the situation, or get help, or just try to handle it as much as you can before you get to that next level of violence, because it might not always be where they threw something at you and then you can just go in on them. Things might be misconstrued and then you go to court and you have to end up paying money for a settlement or something like that. That's the extreme worst case scenario, but typically you want to try to just avoid this kind of stuff. And I know I live my life like that. I try to avoid confrontation and violence, and as much as we talk about it, that's just, who wants to live like that? You know what I mean?
I mean, as someone who came from that side,
yeah,
like, yo, like, I used to be like, granted, I was small, I was skinny, and a whole 110 pounds soaking wet. So that is not a threat.
Nah.
In a typical perspective. But I was scrappy and I had a short temper.
Yep.
And it took time for me to realize I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, but you understood, you learned, and you still here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important thing. So, but that's it for tonight's homie talk. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Share the video, all that good stuff, and we've got more coming this weekend, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
And remember your homie.
And remember homie for the homie.